Hello, friends. This is Tony Dizant, space rocker of the planet Earth. Today is a beautiful day. It's a cloudy day, but still beautiful. And I want to recap for the people that are just coming into this channel. This channel is about having a galaxy mind. Science fiction is only fiction until it's done. And music and space music in general, there's only 12 notes. And the most important thing is that gravity is real. But besides all that, I want to talk to you today about something that was taught to me at a very early age. And it's the question of, is it better to be or to have? I've been going through this throughout my whole life. Is it better to be or to have? Let's question on that. Is it better to be or to have? It just so happens that in today's society, modern society that we live in, things have shifted. And they've been shifting for a long time. It was called the Industrial Revolution. When the Industrial Revolution happened, way back in the days where it happened, early 1900s or whatever, it started shifting people from being someone more as to having things, having stuff. Surely, people started having more interest on having things materialistically, having possessions, than on being a better human being. And there's the saying that I believe in: it's better to be than to have. And like I mentioned, at a very early age, I always was a curious but very quiet kid. And I used to listen to a lot of really, really older people than me. And I always saw that they were saying the same thing. It's better to be than to have. It's better to be than to have. And I heard this from people that were at the final stage of their life. And here I was, the little kid, just taking it all in and saying, why are these people saying that it's better to be than to have? And I see the total opposite going on in the world. Because believe me, when I was growing up, it was still the same thing. And it still is the same thing. I think it's gotten worse. If not, just look at your doorstep. People ordering all kind of stuff every single day because they want to have more. They can't get enough of the gadgets that they want coming in through their door. They, for some reason, they think that having a lot of stuff, it identifies their identity. And in a way, it does, okay? Because this is what happens. All those things, all those gadgets, all those possessions that you order and that you accumulate throughout your life are things that are important to you, but usually it's not important to anybody else. Even though you think they're important to other people, they're not important to anybody else because all the possessions that you want to have in your life are important to one person and one person only is you. You go throughout your life accumulating all this stuff. Some people now have like storage places because they can't even accumulate, put all their possessions in their home. So they have to get another place to keep accumulating stuff that they probably don't need and they lost interest in. But at one point they had interest on it, but it was only interesting to them. So the question here is: is better to be than to have? Is it better to be than to have? I believe so. Because if you dedicate your life to being a better person, being a better human being, being a better in whatever art, career, or whatever thing that you do to help others, being a better father, being a better brother, being a better friend. I believe that's more important than having a lot of stuff. Because, like I said, there's no problem with having, but those things that you have for yourself, like I mentioned, they're only important to you. And at the end of your life, they're not going to be important to anyone else. So, what's going to happen? Your family members are going to inherit stuff that was important to you, but not necessarily important to them. So, what are they going to do with all that stuff? They're going to go ahead and put it on the block, throw it to the curb. Make sure they get the best buck they can get in a garage sale or whatever. If it's in the high scale class and you were somebody important in life or whatever, they're going to try to auction it and get the best bang for their money. But all the possessions that you accumulate in your life are not going out with you. And you cannot take them nowhere. You cannot take them wherever you're going after you die. So, is it better to be or to have? You have to make a decision. You have to make a decision. Because in order to have a lot of possessions, you're going to have to sacrifice a lot of things like putting good stuff up here in your mind and helping others. Because usually the people that have that kind of greed are so busy trying to make that buck. so they can keep buying possessions that they don't have time to be anybody, really. Because in order to become someone, become like whatever you want to say you want to become, it doesn't have to be a movie star or rock star or something huge like a well-renowned surgeon or those people. They don't have time. They don't have time to be fooling around with ordering stuff. I bet you that the person that has done 50,000 surgeries don't have time to sit down on a computer be ordering crap. I'll bet you whoever has done, let's say, let's not go too high, but 300 concerts a year have time to be ordering stuff, let alone play with the stuff they order. And you see where I'm going with this. In order for you to become someone, you have to have your priorities straight. That is better to be than to have. Because at the end of the day, what you possess, what you have, is only important to you and no one else. And it's going on the street or if you become somebody and you're famous or whatever, it might end up in a museum somewhere for people to see or whatever. But the thing is this, you have to get your priorities straight. And you have to fill your mind with good information. And the only way you can do that so you can become somebody. See, become someone is to work hard. Work hard. And try to make a difference in this world. Not have stuff. These days, and I want to say it right outright, these days, music, in my opinion, music have declined tremendously. And why that is? That's because the people that are behind with the money pushing the music to the masses have selected individuals that are not well, let's say, well crafted in their art. And so they just putting stuff out there and pushing it to the people, especially the younger generation. And this music really has no no good content, no good meaning. And with that example, that happens in all industries. And it's because we're become a society where it's more important to have than to be. So, the message for today is that it's better to be than to have. You go ahead and work on your craft and become the best you can be. There's a group that said, let it be, right? A very famous group said, let it be. Yeah, because they weren't going in the right direction. Let it be. It's better to be than to have. And it doesn't matter if you don't have nothing at the end of your life, but they're going to say, oh, he was this. He was amazing. He could do this like knowing like anybody could. He was an amazing individual. Because he was. Because all he was worried about it was he was going to be. And with this one, I want to say hi to everybody. I want to say hi to all the people in the world that follow my music and follow my blogs. I hope you get the message for today because this is a very important message. It's better to be than to have. Because what you have is going to be what your inner being wanted to possess, but nobody else. It was important to nobody else. And you cannot take it with you. This is Tony Dizant, space rocker of the planet Earth. Still living in this beautiful planet called Earth. Today, with the message of it's better to be than to have.